Welcome to Martechify, a community of marketing professionals interested in digital marketing, Martech, and AI. I'm your host, Ekaterina Konovalova, and today my guest is James McNeal, who is the Director of Digital Marketing Programs at SHI International. James, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Katrina. I'm really looking forward to talking to you all things AI. I know it's an ever-changing
Yes,
world out there, so happy to be here and talk to you about it.
absolutely. So let's first start with description of your role, and maybe you can tell us more about your company.
Sure. Yeah, so I am the Director of Digital Marketing Programs at SHI International. So really what I do is I run the digital department, which is everything under the sun of digital marketing. When you're talking through all the initiatives that we're doing to try and push out our message of all of our pillar services at SHI. Now, what is SHI? We're historically a value-added reseller. So we are a company that has historically, over the last 35 years, done a lot of reselling of devices, products, big partners like Microsoft, Dell, Google, all the big names that you're aware of. But we also do branch off into other pillar solutions like cybersecurity, modern workplace setup for all the business needs. We have now our new AI pillar, which is our AI solutions pillar. So we can talk a little bit more about that and what we're really wanting to go to market with on that particular pillar.
Well, let's talk about it. I
Sure.
want to hear more about your digital programs and AI.
Sure. Starting off, digital is obviously a hard place to navigate. You have your SEO, your website, how you're trying to constantly stay visible on the search engines. Now, I will say, in the recent months with AI mode and the transition to more GEO and generative engine optimization efforts, that has definitely changed the game with what Google's done since this past May. We have seen overall dip in overall impressions, viewable impressions, traffic to our site, which is also we've had to make some optimizations to try and offset that dip in performance. That said, we're still seeing pretty consistent growth. We're not seeing a huge dip in that category. We are doing a lot of different digital tactics, everything under the sun when it comes to top of funnel, middle funnel, lower funnel. We're doing a lot of awareness campaigns using certain platforms like LinkedIn, Meta, we're Google. Even we're doing some connected TV, doing some programmatic display, things like that nature of trying to reach people on the top funnel. But then we're also trying to drive demand at the same time and running certain tactics within each of those platforms that do drive clicks, leads, conversions, and ultimately try to get some B2B leads to come in and help our sales team with those efforts. So yeah, I mean, digital marketing as a whole, it's a lot, but we're able to develop these full funnel strategies within each of our pillars, and that's the way we're going to market with them.
Well, can you share any of the campaigns or programs you're the most proud of?
Yeah, I think the AI campaign as a whole, our from conception all the way to execution has been a really solid campaign that we're really proud of here at SHI. The creative team, our VP, worked really hard to come up with what is truly our message to go into market. And we are a little bit unique. We're not sitting here creating, AI and like most of the companies are out there. We are really an AI solutions provider or AI solutions consultant. So we're really trying to break into the market on if you're a business out there, any business, and you're trying to navigate the space of AI or trying to set up your own AI infrastructure within your company. How do you do it? It's hard. I mean, it's hard to navigate. You're like, okay, well, I need to buy this. I need to buy this. I need these servers. I need this tech stack. But then how do I implement it and execute that? Well, at SHI, we have our AI cyber labs where we will help all these businesses develop that process and really develop how they're going to implement their AI infrastructure to set them up for long-term success. So we're really a solution provider. We can help you find the right tech stack and help you find where to store those servers or which servers you will need in order to create your AI infrastructure. So we can do that piece, but we can also set you up for long-term success. We're not just here to sell you the hardware. We're here to help you long-term and set up the whole infrastructure setup. So knowing that and understanding that we are kind of a different player in the AI space, we had to come up with what our message was. So we've you might have seen some of our ads, and if you go to shi.com and you check out our generative AI page, you'll see our, it's called fear of missing out or fear of missing up language, which is centered around a lot of people who might be scared to miss out on AI, the big change and everything that's going on, but then also are kind of hesitant to get into the works because they're like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I might mess things up. So that's where SHI comes in, and we can help you with that. So SHI as a whole is just a company that can really come in, help you with everything from start to finish, and help you not mess up. I mean, even if there is a little bit of mess up here and there, we have our cyber labs. You can test all that out before you go into market or place it into your business.
Okay. And help me understand. So you're in a B2B business, right? Mm-hmm. And I assume you have a variety of customers. So what are the typical companies you're working with?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it ranges from enterprise level businesses, 5,000 plus headcount companies to, your small and medium sized businesses. Obviously PubSec, healthcare, definitely some strong verticals for us too, but we have enterprise, mid-level, strategic, and then our SMB commercial space as well. But we do work with the big players out there, anybody in the top, 10,000 plus headcount companies, all within the US. So those are the type of the companies that we'll typically work with.
All right. And I saw the spirit of innovation mentioned on your website. So how do you incorporate it in your marketing programs?
Well, that's the key is we want to take advantage of all the new, I would say, assets available within each of the platforms. And as you know, a lot of things are changing towards video. It's been that way for the past 5 to 10 years where everything's just moving towards video with the TikTok world of things, short form videos, explainer videos, things like that. So we're really being creative with our in-house team on how, if we're going to execute on certain assets, types of creative, whether it's video, short form video, single image ads, we want to take advantage of the new thing. So we're doing our best to keep up with those trends, but we are making sure to evaluate where we're going with, say, if we do have a short form video, that's clearly going to work better on an in-feed style type ad, or even some Instagram story or Facebook story inventory to understand, okay, it's got to be vertically facing. We got to make sure that we're getting our point across within those first 7 to 10 seconds, because we know that people typically do pass over pretty quickly. The attention spans are lacking these days in the amount of time people are spending online, and they typically scroll real quickly. So we're trying to be as captivating as we can within those first 7 to 10 seconds. But yeah, we're being innovative with that process, with how we're going to market, but understanding that what type of assets will work better within whichever type of tactics we're trying to go with, whichever way it's Meta or LinkedIn.
Right. So it sounds like you do a lot of social media campaigns. I wanted to see if you have any unusual avenues and channels. So one example, one of our previous interviews was a company called WellHub, and they work with HR managers. And they actually launched a really cool fictional podcast called The Murder in HR. And they hired a lot of well-known celebrities to play those characters. So that was such an unusual play for a quote, kind of traditional, not so exciting B2B HR space. So I'm curious if you have any really fun, more non-traditional campaigns that you execute in addition to a typical B2B sales funnel.
Sure. Well, it's tough in this space to. I think a lot of people do take themselves seriously in this space, and what we're doing is a serious business. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of different initiatives and the services that we work in. It's tech, and like you said, it's not maybe the most exciting thing is like what we could do, like TikTok dances and trends, and take advantage of that stuff. There's that, unfortunately, is not possible. But I think what our creative team has done is not take ourselves too seriously. There's definitely a little bit of tongue in cheek with our messaging and what we're taking to market. The FOMO creative itself is actually a very out of the box thinking. I mean, we definitely went. The concept was very unique with trying to kind of do what I would kind of say is like the devil and the angel on either shoulder. Like, oh, you have FOMO on this side who's, hey, I don't want to miss out on the party on AI, but then you have the FOMU, if you're messing up, saying, no, don't get involved. And so I think we really wanted to come up with a concept that really does land in this market and that nobody else is using. So I think we haven't used any particular, ambassadors as of yet in terms of like, any famous people of note. But I think the creative concept was very unique in how we're going to market.
Yes, that sounds really fun. So what are your thoughts in general on AI development? Because I literally have two camps as I'm talking to people. Some are doom and gloom, be doom, the probability of doom, we will all go, we will die. And others are, no, this is wonderful, we will thrive, we'll discover drugs that can cure cancer and marketing will be great. So where do you stand with your AI thoughts and predictions?
Yeah, I think our behavior is kind of determining where all this is headed. You think of just how you're utilizing AI right now. I think some people are still maybe dipping their toes in the water right now. I think it's very fascinating how quickly we're becoming not reliant but dependent somewhat on what AI has given us so far and how we're utilizing AI to progress in business. And then there's many different facets of life. But I think even we've noticed in the digital marketing space, user behaviors are changing. They're searching for things differently online. They're asking questions, long form questions, not just the typical quick searches with like 4 or 5 keywords like we're used to on Google, and then hopefully getting a result that presents itself that is exactly what you're looking for, and the query's producing what it thinks that you want. But people are actually wanting specific answers to things. So we have to ensure that we're giving them those answers. We're producing content that also has answers in them. We're asking questions of what's the challenge with AI? And then not only what's the challenge and how we're going to market with that question, but we're answering it at the same time. So I think a lot of the change right now within AI is what's the problem? What's the issue? What's the solution? It needs to be immediate, because if it's not, then AI is not going to show it. And obviously in the digital world, we want to be out there. We want to make sure we're present within the space. But as far as AI as a business, it's a necessity now.
Yes.
If you're a business that's still wondering out there how your business could approach AI, SHI International would be your choice to reach out to and inquire more about how to set yourself up with AI.
Good to know. And you mentioned content. So, for example, you produce assets that answer questions that people are looking for. And in the past, that was a very common practice to gate content, to get opt-ins, to get leads. So how do you approach? Do you freely give away content these days?
Yeah, there's a little healthy mix of both. I mean, there's some gated content that we still do and produce on certain platforms, whether it's LinkedIn or we have hey, we were looking for a lead. It's a lead gen document ad or something where we would love for you to get your information and to receive the information. But we're producing really high value assets that have some really detailed information. But the trick is it has to be captivating, and we have to understand that it has to be appealing to the right target audience. So we got to ensure we're targeting the right people, but does that asset speak to the people we're talking to? And if it does, then they'll still they'll enter in their information and get that. But ultimately, we're not wanting to withhold information at all. If they go to our site, poke around, they can find any of those assets available and download them pretty easily. So, but it is crucial to produce that content and get it out in the world. And since we are experts in the space, we want to ensure to share that wealth of knowledge. And anybody who's interested, we want them to reach out.
Wonderful. So any parting thoughts, advice that you can give to other digital marketers who are either entering digital space or want to elevate their career to the next level, improve their game? So what would you tell them?
Definitely right now take advantage of what Google's offering and make sure that you're part of any beta test with AI and make sure that you're closely monitoring the performance. While it might seem like there might be a dip in overall impressions, clicks, look deeper at your attribution metrics and see if you're seeing that same correlation or if there's still good quality coming in. Because I think what happens now is if people are searching for you or things related to your piece of business or your service, your pillars, they're going to find it. And when they do, hopefully you're in the right place where they can make that quick decision. So it's a changing world out there, especially this last quarter, last 3-4 months. It is tough to keep up with, but definitely have your data right so you can monitor the performance and make some optimizations.
Yes. So why would you single out the last 3 or 4 months? There is a rapid change, probably in my view, since May of 2024, when Google introduced AI summaries and ChatGPT started taking off. So what was happening in the past quarter or so that made a big difference?
Yeah, so Gemini was the big switch with Google, and I think a lot of news came out around mid-May timeframe after they did their big summit, in which was they were going to, have Gemini or AI summary mode just be on every search, and even allowing people to switch over to AI mode and just use that. And I think user behaviors are changing. A lot of people are using LLMs, whether it's ChatGPT and many of the other ones out there that people might be using. So just user behaviors really started to change, I think, within the last 3 months. And I think Google's been on the forefront of that change. And so it has affected the landscape quite a bit within Google search. Google search, it's probably the biggest change that I've seen in Google in my career of digital marketing over the last 15 years. So that's definitely it's a massive shift of a direction for Google.
Yes, definitely. And it's ironic that a lot of Google's revenue comes from advertising, right? In Google search when people land on the website, but they also realize that they have to keep up with AI and almost cannibalize that business and be on the forefront of AI summaries and AI tools.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense. With just the way it's headed, and I know Google's AI summary mode I've used it. I think most people have listening to this probably have at one point searched on Google and used AI summaries and gotten what they needed and then left, instead of actually going through and clicking on different links. User behaviors are changing. So, that's probably the number one thing I could say to somebody is just make sure that you're optimizing your pages for LLM. And, SHI has been taking steps to do that. So as a B2B business, it's crucial to do that.
Well, thank you so much, James. It was a pleasure to learn from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.